You are listening to the Joe on Joe podcast, the only podcast where Joe talks about Joe. And now, your host, Joe Slepsky.
Hey, and welcome back to Joe on Joe. I'm your host, Joe Slepsky, and this week I have a special guest for today's episode. Today's episode of G.I. Joe. This gentleman is a very good friend of mine out here in Los Angeles, California. He is a producer. He is an editor. He is a level 23 Pokemon master.
I'm still getting there. I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to be at level 26 by the time the podcast drops.
Okay, well, you've got just a couple days to hit that. He is a producer and an editor at WildKat Sports. His name is Pablo Romero-Estevez.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you introducing me as special, by the way.
You are special, and I don't mean special needs either. Not even in that kind of way.
Well, it's just very rare for people just like, hey, I want to introduce you to my friend. He's special. You don't get that in the regular world. You only get that on a podcast.
You do in some places. But,
yeah,
but not here. So let's talk about Pablo. Pablo, you are... what does producer and editor at WildKat Sports means? I mean, I know what it means, but let's tell our audience.
Well, I mean, a producer, it's very hard to say what you do as a producer. You just kind of do a little bit of everything.
Well, tell me what WildKat Sports is first.
WildKat Sports is a premier Gulf Coast wrestling organization. We're an independent wrestling federation based out of New Orleans, Louisiana. We've been around about 4 years now, almost 5 actually, unofficially. And we're getting ready to premiere on local New Orleans television.
That's super exciting. I know you've been working hard on that for a long time now.
Yep.
And you said your start date is September 24th?
September 24th. Well, we have stuff on YouTube now, so I don't want to discourage people from visiting the YouTube.
If you're listening to this, go to youtube.com/WildKat Sports. Now, WildKat is spelled with a K, so it's WILDKAT Sports. That's on YouTube, and you can also go to wildkatsports.com to check out their website and see upcoming matches, and I'm sure the videos are embedded on there.
Yeah, a few of them I want to say. You know what, to be honest, I should have looked at our website before this.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's constantly changing and constantly improving.
That's the right answer. Like, I would tell you what's on the website, but we're so up to the moment, it's going to change by the time you hear this.
Exactly.
And you can also find Pablo on Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram at PabloFNPersona. Pablo FN Persona.
Yep. I keep it pretty consistent through all social media.
Yeah, you keep it pretty tight. Now, you edit, and you've been with WildKats from the beginning.
Yeah. Actually, since their first official show, which was called New Year's Resolutions.
And you're a huge wrestling fan. I know that.
Yeah. Oh, well, obviously. It's a labor of love.
I know last year was tough. My condolences on both the son of a plumber.
Yeah.
And
Rowdy Piper.
Rowdy, of course. Rowdy.
And Mr. Fuji now.
And now, today, as we're recording this, we hear Mr. Fuji died. Now... Remind our viewers what Mr. Fuji, what his deal was.
He was a manager. He would manage some really just quality heels, and I think most famously, I think was Yokozuna.
Oh, that's right. Didn't he used to throw salt in people's eyes?
Yeah, it was like a ceremonial kind of. Like Japanese sumo. I'm not a sumo expert. I'm a pro wrestling expert. But
no, but Mr. Fuji, didn't Mr. Fuji do something like that?
Oh yeah, I want to say he did.
Yeah, because I know that sumo. I actually studied this a little bit in college. Actually, strangely enough, they do the salt to purify the ring.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then to purify the match. I believe I may be totally wrong if memory serves. The salt is
legit.
is for purification. Then they clap their hands and they show their hands that there's nothing in their hands to show that I'm unarmed and it's just going to be a fair fight. It's me against you kind of a thing. So Yokozuna did that, and then didn't Fuji then throw the salt in people's faces once the match got going?
He was full of all sort of dirty tactics. Just a typical heel manager that was. But he was, I guess, just at a time when pro wrestling was really big and the WWF was a big thing, and a lot of people grew up watching him. I guess within my generation.
Growing up, who was your man wrestling?
Ric Flair. I'm Ric Flair fan. Yeah.
Were you following wrestling during the Sergeant Slaughter era?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, absolutely. That's why I was hoping to maybe get on one of these G.I. Joe episodes when Sergeant Slaughter is on the show. But
we're going to have you back for that. The thing is, Sergeant Slaughter doesn't join the show. Like, I wouldn't have you on the show until next year sometime because he doesn't join the show until after the movie.
Yeah, that's what I've been clamoring for is a Sergeant Slaughter episode because I listen to the podcast.
Thank you.
And I'm like, I'm going to wait for the right moment. It's like double Dutch.
He joins him in the movie. He joins him, and then he has a huge presence on the show. But he joins him in the movie, and it's funny. You and a couple other friends out here, they keep saying, I want to be on certain shows, but the shows they're talking about were like really, really later episodes. I'm like, fool, I need guests today.
Yeah, we're starting from the beginning.
Yeah. So let's get into it. We're going to watch an episode today called Money to Burn.
Yeah.
Now, did you watch G.I. Joe as a kid?
No, not really, to be honest with you. But that's the most baller-sounding title to any '80s cartoon TV show.
It kind of makes you think of Ted DiBiase, right? Didn't he used to Didn't he used to light cigars with his dollar bills or something?
I can't recall him lighting a cigar with a dollar bill, but I do remember he would get kids to come and do. We actually just recently had Ted DiBiase on a show, so that's actually really great that you bring him up. He did a little bit of signing, came and saw some fans, and did a little kind of couple little moves in the ring. I don't want to give too much away because you'll see it on the show.
Oh yeah, that's cool. So that's going to be on the show that's going to air, and it's you said it was station WUPL.
It's in New Orleans. It's called WUPL, which is a CBS affiliate, which is originally UPN. I think I was just telling you, somebody on Facebook is giving me a hard time about it. But it's still listed as UPN in New Orleans if you look at your that digital channel kind of guide thing. I don't watch.
So he's good. So you have an interview with him that's going to be on the show.
No. He just does a little run in and he does a couple little things.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. He was always like a B-level favorite of mine.
He was classic. He
definitely was classic. I grew up watching like Hulk Hogan, Junkyard Dog, Rowdy Roddy Piper, of course. I didn't get in too much into like the WCW, the secondary market stuff. I was WWF all the way.
Yeah,
and I will always be WWF, by the way.
Well, I resent the fact that you're calling WCW a secondary market, but I grew up in the South. I was a WCW fan.
In a big city, WCW was secondary market.
Yeah,
Chicago was all WWF.
Yeah. You were up north. I was down south. That's exactly the separation within. WWF.
So WWF wasn't as big down there?
Well, it was because it was all over the place, but WWF's home headquarters was, I guess, in New York for a little while. I mean, it's now in Stamford, Connecticut, and that's kind of the original territory that they sprawled out from was up north. And then where I grew up in Louisiana, we were closer to Georgia, which is where WCW headquarters were, and a lot of those territories became WCW that were in that southern area, or a lot of those wrestlers went with WCW that were in that area. And so I like watching Ric Flair, Sting, the Four Horsemen. And
that's exciting. Well, I know wrestling was always very regional, but it wasn't regional. Cobra wasn't regional. Cobra was everywhere. Did you have G.I. Joe toys growing up?
I had a bunch of G.I. Joe toys.
Oh, what'd you have? Do you remember?
I had Snake Eyes, of course.
Of course. Do you know what generation Snake Eyes?
No.
Did he have the wolf? Or did he have and what mask? Do you remember what mask he had?
I don't recall per se. I remember the figures were held together with these elasticy pieces to hold all their joints together. It was like a little elastic string kind of.
Right. Yeah. The like O-rings. They call them plumber O-rings.
Yes. Were they all made like that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. From the beginning, I don't know if that was.
Oh yeah. Well, so the first generation Snake Eyes had sunglasses. Basically, they looked like sunglasses, and then the second gen he had a slitted visor, and he came with a wolf.
Okay,
and
no.
The third gen he had on his chest. He had two big. His defining moment was two big.
Like an X.
An X of two big knives strapped to his chest.
Oh no! See, I don't know. I think he had a lot of pouches, which was a very '90s thing. I think we've talked about this.
Yeah.
I remember him having pouches. I don't know. I don't remember any of the actual. I know I had a bunch of G.I. Joes. I don't remember any of the actual names of any of them. They were all just kind of faceless.
I know a little
soldiers.
Besides wrestling, I know a little bit about what you grew up watching. But what cartoons really moved your needle when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, got to take a moment to think about this. What did I really watch?
Turtles.
I watched
Turtles.
Oh yeah. My 6th birthday, Turtles. Exactly. That's probably it.
I don't mean to answer for
Thank you. You know my own life.
Well, I know you're a huge Turtles fan.
My fan. Oh, yeah. Turtles, Power Rangers, I think when I
Yeah.
was younger. Power Rangers were a little bit later on. When I was way younger, it was definitely Turtles.
Power Rangers are terrible.
You know what? I was really...
Power Rangers are terrible.
For some reason, I was really into Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I had
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I had a bunch of figures from that movie.
You had a whole wall of Kevin Costner's.
No, it was just something really badass about, like bow and arrows, and I'm still kind of into that. But I mean, like,
so funny.
You're a kid, you're stupid, and you don't know any better.
That's so fun. Oh, you know what? Actually, that's so funny. You know what that reminds me? I don't know why. I don't promote this very much on this show because it doesn't come up. But Pablo is my co-host on an internet web show that we do called...
I forgot about that.
Yeah, called Another... I think it's because we're the talent on the show. Not to say the other guys aren't talent, but we don't produce it.
Yeah. Well,
So we spend our hours working on working on this, and you work on your WildKat stuff, and then we work with our friends John and Wally. The four of us do a show called Another Comic Shop Show.
Shot at Golden Apple.
Yeah, a Shot at Golden Apple. It's on a YouTube channel called Whiskey and Waffles. And I think the reason we don't think about it is because we just show up to shoot it and then we leave, and then 2 months later we shoot a few more episodes.
I help them a little bit in the post process.
Oh, do you?
I don't
do the editing on
but
it?
it's very John does all the final editing. I just kind of do the very basic bones of it. I just do like the simplest stuff and send it to him. But you're right. It's kind of like just like a one day or just like couple 3 hours worth of editing, and I send it to John. And
yeah, it's totally fun though. It takes place in a comic shop, and which is how Pablo and I first met. It's our eyes locked across the room.
Mm-hmm.
Now we both worked at Golden Apple, and and it's just four guys talking comics and talking pop culture and talking all this stuff, and inside a comic shop. So.
We don't get to talk Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
No,
so I'm gonna
but
get
now
all that
that
out of my
I know
system
about
now.
this though, we're going to talk about Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
And I also had like Swamp Thing figures, but yeah, I had Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Well, Swamp Thing makes sense because you lived in a swamp.
Yeah, I think he was just cool. I think he glowed in the dark.
Yeah.
And then I was a real Ghostbusters fan.
Awesome. Oh yeah, come on, of course.
That was a big cartoon for me.
Did you see the one this summer?
What do you mean? Oh, the movie.
The
yeah,
movie, the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I
one.
loved the movie.
Did you love it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I feel terrible that people are dicks and are just gonna not appreciate it or gonna.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I do think though that it wasn't very memorable. Like there wasn't a ton about it that made me go, "Oh, you remembered that moment when." But in the moment, very funny, and I love those actresses. They're great, and I love Paul Feig movies and all that, and I totally enjoyed the movie. But like when I walked away, it wasn't like, "Oh, this is a movie that can define anything." It just felt cookie cutter, which that was a little disappointing.
Well, I think the movie, like the moments that were funny in the movie, are moments that would have been funny with just those actresses in any movie.
Exactly,
is kind of what it was.
Exactly.
But, I mean, yeah, there's. I guess there's a couple. I mean, Holzman really stood out for me. I mean, she was amazing.
She was great. But you can you imagine what that character would have been if any other actress had played her? Like that character had nothing to do in the script.
Yeah.
It was all Kate McKinnon.
Yeah,
because she had very little dialogue in most of those scenes, and she would just be good.
And she just managed to just steal it without the dialogue.
Yeah,
she killed it. I have a pop figure up there right above.
Nice. I also see you got an Andre the Giant pop, and is that Bret the Hitman Hart?
Bret the Hitman Hart's
Ric
Flair, come on.
E.T. and Elliot?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. You got Sam, the trick-or-treat guy?
I got a lot of pop figures.
You got a lot of pop figures. You got a burned Stay Puft Marshmallow Man with a sad face?
He's sad. He's angry.
He's very angry. All right. Well, we're going to do G.I. Joe today.
Okay.
And we're going to get into an episode called Money to Burn. I think it's like Cobra's Candidate, which was last week's episode. I think it's got a lot of real world implications. Like what really would happen if the things that happened in this episode happen. So I'm very excited to get into it.
I like all these titles actually. Now I feel like I need to go back and listen to Cobra's Candidate because
Cobra's Candidate is a really good episode.
That's a very interesting title. Is he like rigging an election or something?
That's totally what they are. Yeah, that's
Nice.
totally what they do. Yeah, it's great.
All right.
It's great. All right, so we're going to get into it. And thank you, Pablo Persona. Find you at Pablo FN Persona, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram. And follow WildKat Sports. Oh, and you can always follow me at Joe on Joe Pod. And that's at Facebook and Twitter. And I've actually started Instagramming.
Oh,
For real, started Instagramming.
you're a little late on that. I think.
know, but I've had the account set up since we started, and I've just never Instagrammed. So
And-
I'm
well-
finally starting to Instagram, and it's exciting. So we're doing that, and you can send me an email at joeandjoepod@gmail.com. If you want to be a guest host, we can do this remote. We did last week, and I think it turned out really well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm bringing the people to Joe, right? Or bringing Joe to the people, something like that.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. All right, so we're going to get into it. And with this episode, G.I. Joe, Money to Burn. Yo, Joe. So, as always, did you have any of these toys that you're seeing? Did you have, like, the Trouble Bubbles? Did you have, like, the twins? There's Snake Eyes. Like, is that his outfit, by the way?
I had that weird guy in that with the pale, bald face. That guy.
Destro?
Yeah, I had
The
him.
weird guy. That's Destro. By the way, Destro. You know what? We're recording this on Jack Kirby Day. Do you know that?
No.
Today is Jack Kirby's would have been his 99th birthday.
So I'm sorry for my. Did he have something to do with the show?
No, he didn't.
Like I
He
misinformed.
did not. However, we're big comic book guys, and
Yeah.
Jack Kirby is the king. And I'd like to think that Kirby influenced everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was actually thinking about this today. If there is a character in G.I. Joe, I think that would be very Kirby. It's Destro.
Yeah.
The metal mask, like that's like Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this episode, Money to Burn, written by Roger Silford. He has written comic books.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and off the top of my head, I can't place any, but he's a comic book writer.
This looks really good.
The animation?
Yeah.
Solid, right?
It's really solid.
Yeah.
It's really classic,
I
too.
love it. I love the explosions. They're one of my favorite, like, just the way the fire burns and roils on this show. It's really great.
It's not overly complicated, and it doesn't need to be.
No. So we open with a bunch of break-ins and a bunch of robberies. So all these thugs are heading down to the docks, and they're exchanging gold and jewelry and all this stuff. They're giving it to the Crimson Twins. That's Tomax and Zaymot.
And they're paying for it, though.
They're paying for it, right? They're giving them cash, so they're running a cash for gold operation.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? I thought that was pretty legal. They almost got hit by that truck.
Yeah. So
Take this guy's license away. Look at him.
Some dude that looks like he climbed out of the cast of the movie Octopussy, where he worked in the zoo in the circus in Octopussy. He drives up in a Brinks truck, right? And Brinks truck carry gold, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a high armored vehicle. Kind
Exactly.
of thing,
So the twins, they're not robbing these people, although these people robbed other people to get those goods, but the twins paid good cash money for it.
Yeah, it seems like a legitimate business they're running right now.
This is their building, by the way, Extensive Enterprises.
That's awesome.
We've seen it. We've seen it split apart and turn into a rocket ship.
Look at it. And they're not abiding by the rules of corporate America. They're just wearing whatever the hell they want and they're just running this giant empire. They're switching out of it.
It's so funny you say that because
Okay.
they're switching into their business suits as we speak.
Damn.
Yeah.
Look at these guys.
There's probably a good chance that at one point they're going to jump out one of their own windows.
So is this a regular thing on the show? These guys run this business
Yeah.
and then just like on the weekends, they're Cobra agents?
Yeah, they're basically the mafia.
That's awesome.
On the show, yeah, they're Italian, they're twins.
I like these guys.
If you punch one, the other one feels it.
Oh, that's epic.
Yeah, and they represent the like the legal face of Cobra. In the comics, Cobra basically made an island at one point. Like they detonated a bunch of nuclear warheads that brought up a big landmass, and it was the Crimson Twins who show up in New York immediately to file papers that Cobra took it over as a sovereign nation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we just see that Destro shows this device that he has. He turns on this little laser, and all this money, this pile of cash that's sitting there, lights on fire. What? Back at the pit, we've got Alpine.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like right now, I feel like the villains are these like hardworking corporate gentlemen, and the Joes are just sitting around playing cards right now.
Totally, the Joes are just gambling, and oh,
all right.
Ace just won a big hand. And you know what's great about that is they say that on Ace's file card, they say they don't call him Ace because he's a good pilot. They call him Ace because he's good at poker. So that's great that they used it in the show. And all their fire, all the money turns to fire. And here we go, Cobra Commander's got a message.
Oh man.
Now, see, these are the criminals that gave the twins gave the money to. And all that money they gave them is now being burned up.
Wow. So it's not just everybody, it's just a select people that sold their belongings.
Well, no, I think it's everything.
Oh.
They're just showing us those
This guy's
people.
putting it on his head?
Yeah,
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, that's right, but he had a toupee. That's funny. No, it's happening to everybody. The reason they showed those people from the beginning of the show is to show us that the Crimson Twins are so dirty dealing, they don't even deal straight with criminals.
Oh, okay, yeah, look, the protest department.
Right.
This is some Project Mayhem kind of shit
Total
here.
Project Mayhem.
Can I say
Yeah,
shit?
we try to keep it clean, but yeah.
This is Project Mayhem kind of stuff here.
So we got Flint and Lady J. They're talking to this some guy who, by the way, looks like Alfred Molina from Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man.
This girl looks like April O'Neil. I don't know.
Well, yeah, she came first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Lady J, and she's awesome. Don't you dare say anything like Lady J is not the most original awesomeness in the world.
Nice.
She was she
Early
was
on.
played in the movie, the second movie, by the girl from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. What's her name? Who played Wonder Woman?
I
Really cute. She plays Mockingbird on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
don't watch that show.
Oh, well, there you go. So, Cobra Commander, I'm willing to bet he has a deal with all the major networks to buy TV time whenever he needs it. Because he's always showing up on the TV. He's always breaking in.
Yeah. The man's he's got money to burn.
And it's...
Oh.
And so now what they're doing is they're saying you can turn in your money that hasn't yet burned on fire for Cobra currency. So they're going to replace people's cash with Cobra gold.
Is that'd be great.
Cash for gold.
I'm just trying to think of if they just gave them the most ridiculous currency ever, man.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't know, Cobra like sprawled out on a bearskin rug or something, just bare bottom. This is your money now.
Like it or not. Okay.
That's what I do anyway.
There's a MacGyver-looking dude who's just assaulting the Joes. They're very upset because they thought they were cutting in line to get money. But now Ripcord is getting clobbered by a woman in a dress that looked like Triplicate Girl from the Legion of Superheroes. And they're all very angry, and they're surrounding the Joes. That guy looks like a gray Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, he looks like a buff Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, totally. Okay, that guy looks like he's straight up out of Street Fighter. And, of course, there's a cowboy nearby with a rope and a little girl in a truck. Because cowboys have little girls in trucks and ropes.
Yeah, that's dangerous for her to be riding that truck
and
bed.
he accidentally hit the shifter, so the truck now is rolling. It's not in park.
Oh, run away, little girl.
And there's a little girl that's, man.
This is dangerous.
So this truck is out of control. We're going into commercial with a little blonde girl in deep peril.
That's suspense right there.
Today's file card features on the G.I. Joe laser rifle trooper codenamed Flash. His file name is Anthony S. Gambello. His primary military specialty is the infantry. His secondary military specialty is the electronic CBR. His birthplace is Lodi, California, and he is a grade E4. Flash is highly skilled in many aspects of electronic technology and is capable of equipment repair in the field. His specialized education is in the electronics school, chemical school, covert electronics, and he's also a qualified expert in the M16, M1911A1, the XMLR1A, the shoulder-fired laser rifle. Flash was a major player in the early days of the G.I. Joe team and tended to drop off as the comic books went along, and certainly on the show he didn't get a lot of play. However, in the Devil's Due comic series, he is part of the attack squad which infiltrates Cobra Island, which was being held by a revived Serpentor and his Coil army. Flash is part of the team sent in to destroy an EMP generator station, and he splits off from the group at the Joe computer expert mainframe. The Coil troops capture the two of them. They both die moments later when the bomb destroys the station. And Flash's last words were "Mission accomplished." His name was added to the G.I. Joe Memorial at Arlington National Cemetery. Flash had a really cool, unique look for one of the early Joes. He was dressed in the standard Green Joe military garb. However, he was covered with what would be best described as a baseball catcher's gear, red padded outfit, which would presumably deflect any stray laser shots from his XMLR1A shoulder-fired laser rifle, so you could always spot him in a crowd, which is how we know that he wasn't in the crowd all that much on the show. They say about Flash that he is methodical and persistent. He has an innate and unshakable faith in the order of the universe, and he was working on his master's degree in electronic engineering. Now I'm hoping that he was able to complete that degree before he perished on the mission with mainframe. But whether or not he's degreed or not, he's always going to be a Joe to us. So here's to you, Anthony S. Gambello. We salute you.
Now back to G.I. Joe.
I hope they save this little girl.
I don't know what would have happened if I actually had to sit through commercials. I would have the suspense would have killed me.
Yeah. Alpine grabs the rope, and we know Alpine he's a mountain, so he's their mountain climber specialist guy.
Okay.
So you know he's good with ropes.
Okay, I was thinking, all right, well, great. I'm glad that's the case.
What were you thinking? Say it.
I was like, Alpine, I don't know, Alpine's speaker, like stereos. I was just, and he was black, and I'm like, I don't know, Joe, if this is very
into sound systems.
Yeah, Alpine.
Okay, no,
You let the Alpine play. He was bumping his shit by NWA. You know?
He's a mountain climber. He's got a mean yodel. Too.
And this is Roadblock.
Roadblock played by in the second movie.
The Rock.
I
know
Can
that.
You smell what Roadblock's cooking?
And I mean, I think I actually had the Roadblock figure.
Yeah, Roadblock was cool. I had the second Roadblock figure. I never had the first figure. I had the second Roadblock. I had Alpine, and that's Ripcord. And that's a dude. Oh, I always forget his name.
That was a great little walk. I think they all just
yeah. I think he's heavy metal. He's got a great costume. I always forget his name though. I'll hear about it on Twitter.
This is a little messed up right now. I feel like they're just.
Cut the act, you clowns. We know
what do you mean?
Working for Cobra.
They're just barging in this nice business.
Well, that's the thing. They're legitimate businessmen. So
I mean, but
they
I don't
can get away with all this stuff.
I don't think the other people working in the office though know what's going on. So why they just collateral kind of damage right now?
I know, right? Like if
that secretary's just doing her job.
It's kind of like people who work for Trump.
So far, the Joes are just kind of pissing me off.
The Joes are here to keep America running smooth.
All right,
and they don't need any upstart businessmen coming in and ruining things. Look at the cockeyed lampshade.
It looks like the Joes are against the free market. It seems.
Yeah, right. Capital socialists. So Flint has a good idea, and he kind of gives Roadblock a wink of like, let's just take off because he has a better idea. So here we are. We're at the Extensive Enterprises jet, and really what I think Flint was saying is, let's follow this lady. So all the Joes have disguised themselves as airport workers, and they kidnap this lady.
We're real sorry about this, ma'am. All right, let's get this show on the road.
There's one thing on the G.I. Joe show that you should understand is they impersonate people straight up Mission Impossible style. You can almost never trust that anyone is who they say they are, because at any point they're always ripping off masks or ripping off faces. And
what the heck? Yeah,
that's Lady J dressed as that lady, not Miss Vanderhoff.
Marvelous.
She's Miss Vanderhoff. She's a little sweet on Roadblock, I think.
Oh.
Hey man, I'm a gourmet.
I think she's
he's a gourmet.
I think she's into Roadblock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It seems good. Nothing wrong with that.
Certainly impressed with your security.
So this is Lady J in disguise.
You haven't even told me where we're going.
They have between them and Zartan, they've just got the best disguises in the world.
Spies. Yes,
Oh, look at that little brooch.
That is not.
Lady J's home.
That's not subtle.
Yeah, that wasn't subtle at all.
Huge brooch that Lady J in disguise. Okay, that lady's awesome. That Lady J in disguise flipped open this giant front of the brooch and hit a button to send a signal.
It's giving it away a little bit.
A little bit. So Ace and Ripcord are trailing the plane as the plane seemingly crashes into the mountain.
I don't get any crash signs on infrared.
But they don't see because it's all hologram. It's all about illusion. It's all about illusion.
Cobras, they're clever. I mean, I really like these twins. I don't know.
Yeah, so their names are Tomax and Xamot. Like, it's the same name backwards. Tomax, Xamot. And they're identical, except one has a giant scar on his face. That's the only way to tell them apart. And then their outfits that they wear are mirror image of the outfit. So the one has a shoulder pad on his right side, and the other one has a shoulder pad on the left side, and so on.
That's awesome. They can coordinate like that. I feel like if I had a twin, I would coordinate just the same.
Well, yeah, and they do that freaky twin thing, which we know is ripped from real life, where they can sense each other and they can feel the pain of the other one. And
they shared a womb.
That's
Joe.
true. That's science.
Shared a womb.
Are you a twin?
No.
Are you Italian?
No, I'm neither of those.
Trying to find why you're so drawn to the Crimson Twins.
They're just awesome. They're like the Winklevoss twins.
They're totally the Winklevoss twins. They're totally the Winklevoss.
Look at all the
twins.
gold they have. See, they're just like. Oh, you sneaky buggers!
Do you see what's going on?
I see what's going on.
What do you think? Tell the reader, tell the listeners.
They are spray painting what coins gold,
right?
And it's dastardly.
So they're actually hoarding the real gold, and the quote gold coins that they're giving out are fake. So.
Whoa.
Even in a world where people are using Cobra currency, Cobra would still then have the gold.
So are all their guns like lasery like that?
Yeah.
Was that like a thing, I guess, with 80s cartoons? Oh.
Boom. Face mask comes off. Lady J's off. See, she only kicked the one. They both doubled down.
Huh, a double play.
Awesome. Yeah, the lasers. It's all, Joe's are all about lasers.
Right.
Lasers, but then the explosions tend to be real. But lasers and... arrows, things like that.
I like this Lady Jane here. She's
Lady J's awesome.
A little bit ahead of her time, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what? That guy's skiing on top.
How convenient.
There, out of nowhere, a snow serpent showed up on top of the giant snake head on skis. Just to be taken out by Lady J so she can borrow his skis. It's very James Bondy.
Yeah.
Right?
Need those skis.
Yeah. Now, Ripcord is doing a high altitude, low opening jump. And he's going right into the mountain, which they think... Now, Ripcord thinks it's a hologram. Ace is saying it's a real mountain. If you don't pull your Ripcord, you're going to die.
After these messages.
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe.
Cobra's captured our attack cannon. Call in G.I. Joe. Go get Breaker. He can do it.
He never gives up. He'll stay till the fight's won.
Get the rapid fire motorcycle.
G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe.
He did it.
You've not seen the last of Cobra.
G.I. Joe and Cobra the Enemy, each sold separately from Hasbro.
Now back to G.I. Joe.
Joe's are masters of suspense here. I feel like they leave you on commercial, just like a really tense moment. First was a little blonde girl. Oh my goodness!
He just went through the hologram. Yeah,
All right,
dude,
now we
the
get to see
Joe
it work
commercial
there.
breaks are always about 9 times out of 10 they're about gravity. For real, 9 times out of 10
Falling.
they're about people falling or people racing towards doom. In some case, it's very rarely is it any kind of slow burn like I'm gonna hold you with a gun to your head, Cobra Commander. It's always like you're gonna hit a wall and die. That's what the breaks are.
That's how you got to keep them on the edge of their seats.
So what's great is Ripcord took that chance and he showed them that it was all a mirage. So now the Joes are able to drop all their weaponry and all their vehicles through this mirage mountain.
Nice.
And we come back to the twins chasing after Lady J on skis. Total James Bond.
And they have it very well put together here with their just like in unison skiing side by side there.
Mm-hmm. Olympic level.
That takes a lot of practice.
It really does. And Cobra's got a whole fleet of trouble bubbles. Those are called trouble bubbles. That's the Baroness, of course, in case you weren't sure. And they've got a whole bunch of trouble bubbles, which are the least armored weaponry you could possibly get. It's basically a rocket on your back and a missile beneath your butt. But they're going to go chase after the Joes.
Were these twins in the movies at all?
No, the twins were never used in the movies.
Criminal.
All right. The Joes show up. They've got their snowcats. Oh, the Cobra's got their fixed wings. Here's the Mauler. They've got snowcats, Mauler. They've got the one of the other tanks. I couldn't see it.
Now, I noticed the Agents of Cobra aren't really dying there. They're just parachuting to safety.
Lots of parachutes, Pablo.
Okay.
Lots of parachutes on G.I. Joe. Everyone gets parachutes. Sometimes 2 parachutes. Sometimes both the chair that they are sitting in, will get a parachute, and then their body will get a parachute.
You got to make sure everything lands safely on this show.
Oh
yeah.
I don't remember the name of that toy, but that little mini tread tank. That was pretty sweet. That's Firefly. He was in the second movie. I think it was Ray Wise played him. It's the same guy who played the Punisher.
Did Joseph Gordon-Levitt continue playing Cobra Commander?
No, he did not, because in the second movie, he never took the mask off, so there's no need to pay a Joseph Gordon-Levitt to play Cobra Commander. It was just on cable last night. We were
He's
watching.
such a nice guy. That
JGL?
Yeah,
I think Roadblock's a nice guy. I think he's a gentleman.
Could be.
I really like Roadblock. Ripcord is breaking into the base to kind of, because someone still needs to stop all this financial hijinks, right? So real quick. So basically, we've got an adventure. Everyone's shooting. Everyone's about to punch, and we know where that's going to go. Pablo, what would you do if all the cash? You know what? Here's actually, strangely enough, if this happened today, I wouldn't be that affected personally. Now,
if all the cash was gone,
I know the markets would go crazy, and I don't even know how to get into that. What would happen in the actual markets? But how much cash do you have on you?
I have no cash on me.
Right. Everything's electronic now.
Yeah. Everything's exactly. Everything's electronic.
It's
so I mean,
totally electronic, right?
I carry cash if it's like, I don't know, if I'm going out, it's like some sort of occasion.
Sure, but no more than a couple $100 on you at any given time, right? For the most part.
I'd say like 50.
Yeah. Well, listen. So once WildKat Sports takes off, you're gonna be rolling, my friend.
Couple hundos.
But my point is, we're really credit card and just digital, whether it's debit card or whatever.
Yeah, so
our stuff today, I don't know how much of an impact this would have. Now, I'm sure I say that, and obviously it would disrupt financial systems everywhere. Like stores like Golden Apple.
Yeah,
like their safe would be screwed. Like what I mean, like or any kind of store that deals in cash.
Yeah,
their take for the week or their take for the day would just burn up, right? But even then though, you get a majority of transactions. I think even most stores credit cards, right?
It would lower the national deficit.
Why do you say that?
Because
I don't know if I believe you on this. Why do you say that?
Because there'd be no cash flow. So I mean, if all that cash is negative, then we kind of just balance it out.
All that Iranian cash we traded for the hostages would blow up.
Well, we're not spending it. It's not going anywhere. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what it would do.
I'm sure it would send things into a tailspin.
The cartel would be pissed.
People like my grandfather, when he's long passed, but when he passed, he fought in World War II. He was from that age. He had the proverbial mattress full of loot.
Yeah, he had the mattress full of.
Yeah, I mean, like it was just a couple bucks here and there, but it was like all that would go.
What a beautiful explosion!
So,
it's fake.
Yeah.
Money.
So the Joes just destroyed the Cobra Temple, and all this fake Cobra gold money just came pouring out. So the Cobra soldiers.
There's something very sexy about that cartoon lady there.
That's the Baroness, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm into
foxy,
her.
Right?
She's foxy.
Yeah.
Who played her?
I don't know off the top of my head, but a lot of the voice actors are going to be at Long Beach Comic Con in a couple weeks.
Oh,
yeah, there's a big meet and greet with a lot of the Joe voice actors. So I imagine the voice of the Baroness might be there.
I'm not sure if she looks like that cartoon character.
You've seen
so
that
I might be really
right?
disappointed. No, I have not.
You've never seen the Baroness done in cosplay?
No, I'm sure that's actually.
It's delightful.
I don't want to think about it.
Pablo's about to be a married man.
I'm about to get married.
To the lovely Brandy
okay,
Blue.
Look at this. Back to the cards.
Yeah, back to gambling.
Well, you know what the twins are going back to? They're going back to the hustle, the corporate world.
By the way, I've been dying to find out, Ripcord, old buddy. You never finished telling us how you got past that Polo Trooper.
No big deal. Tied his shoelaces together. When he went for me, he fell flat on his face.
That's so funny. This is great.
Like you're about to do.
Oh, Ripcord pulled one over on Ace, and they also didn't have to spend the story time to animate it. They turned it into a joke, right? You know what I'm saying? Because it was in the plot. Like Ripcord was getting ambushed, and then they just never showed how it resolved. So they use it. He explains it, so they actually give you resolution on the moment, and then it becomes a gag because he bests Ace in the poker game.
I see what you did there, G.I. Joe.
Yeah, you like that? So there you go.
Yeah, that was very efficient storytelling, I think. I don't just from beginning to end.
Yeah, you making sure that they covered all the bases.
There's no intros to the characters or any of that stuff because I'm sure you're a regular watcher of the show. But yeah.
So what do you think?
I really enjoyed that. Okay. Ooh, Hasbro Inc. I think the animation's amazing. It held up really well. I don't know. It's something really classic when I see stuff like this, I guess.
Marvel Productions.
Oh, is that a Marvel production?
It's a Marvel Productions. Yeah, Marvel produced this.
Wow. Yeah, that was pretty good. I'm pretty impressed how G.I. Joe's looking over the because I mean, like, you watch certain cartoon shows. I think X-Men the animated series is a little guilty of that. Like, I think of it as being like this, which it is. I love the show, but then you go back and watch it, and the animation's like.
I think animation standards dropped in the 90s.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because I think the pressure was to make more content faster and cheaper.
So this was 80s.
This was 80s, yeah. And this was like in the early era of syndication for cartoons. So like where He-Man, they busted out and made 60 episodes and then sold it to people.
Yeah,
that was
He-Man
the first one
was
to do this. With G.I. Joe, like similar model. And I think they were still working off that theory of get the highest quality possible. You know what I mean? But by the time you get to the 90s, there's so many shows out there.
Well, I think
there were so many animation houses bidding for it. I think because you're right.
Maybe.
I think the animation X-Men cartoon is iffy at best.
Well, I think
I never really enjoyed it.
He-Man kind of just used the same shots over and over, so they were able to recycle that footage and make it
totally right.
Pretty cheap, right?
Yeah, you totally because they had a lot of corners to cut to make that show. Absolutely.
But this was. It was pretty quality.
Yeah, it's really good.
It was great.
I've always been a big
fan. The opening sequence, I think the shots, the safe and everything, and the dynamite, the explosion.
So would you want to do another episode of Joe on Joe?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, we're definitely going to get you in on.
I got to see some Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
So is Sergeant Slaughter? He's actually like an. I remember like him being like live action on the show. He'd like come on after the show and it'd be like, oh,
he does do that. But no, he's an actual cartoon character, and he joins the Joe in the movie. He joins the Joes as their drill sergeant.
Nice.
And then in the season that followed the movie, which was done by a different company, but they changed it. 2 years of G.I. Joe were terrible, and the production totally drops off. It becomes that crappy 90s animation.
I want to see all those.
They're terrible. It involves Cobra playing a game of football with tanks.
Those are. Those are the ones I want to be on. Can we just do a whole night's worth? We just like burn through both those seasons?
Without a doubt. So, all right. Well, I'm so happy to have you, Pablo.
Thank you.
This was delightful. I think you did a great job. I think I'm super excited to see WildKat Sports at TV.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can't watch it on New Orleans television, if you're not in the New Orleans region or that whole general region where we're going to be playing to begin with, we're in works to try to get a Roku channel action there.
That's a great idea. Awesome.
And then you can also check out some of our older stuff, and we'll be uploading a couple little bits of the show on YouTube. YouTube.com/WildKatSports.
I love it, Pablo. Thank you so much. And listeners, thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for telling your friend. If you're so inclined, leave me a review on iTunes. And I'm happy to announce we're actually on Google Play Music now.
Oh.
Yeah, and we're soon to be on iHeartRadio. I've been told there's a backlog in getting all the shows approved for not just my show, but other shows as well.
Well.
But we're growing. We're getting out there.
All right.
So, yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Pablo.
Thank you.
And remember, now you Joe, and Joeing is half the battle.